Ek Villain Returns is a 2022 thriller from director Mohit Suri and stars Arjun Kapoor, John Abraham, Tara Sutaria, and Disha Patni. It acts as a spiritual sequel to the 2014 blockbuster, also directed by Mohit Suri and stars Siddharth Malhotra, Ritesh Deshmukh, and Shraddha Kapoor. Mohit Suri's filmography is not one that receives a ton of critical acclaim. A lot of his films are either remakes or have plots borrowed from Hollywood or South Korean films, but he does have some underrated gems and noteworthy hits under his belt. Some of his finer works that are, in my opinion, hugely underrated are Awarapan, Wo Lamhe, Hamari Adhuri Kahani, and Kalyug. I've also enjoyed some of his other hits like Murder 2, Raz the Mystery Continues, Ek Villain, and the most recent Malang. His thrillers are mostly engaging, which possess a surprising twist in the narrative. He also has a good ear for melodious music, and he blends the soundtrack very well with the movie's proceedings. Taking all this into consideration, my expectations for Ek Villain Returns were fairly high, but my biggest concern laid in the casting choice, except for John Abraham. He's great in everything. I stayed away from any trailers and patiently awaited its release on Netflix. So does Ek Villain Returns live up to its predecessor's merits? Or does it succumb to the symptoms of sequelitis? Let's discuss. Ek Villain Returns starts with the disappearance and probable murder of singer R.B. Malhotra, played by Tara Sutaria, and the immediate suspect is Gautam Mehra, played by Arjun Kapoor. While uncovering this mystery, John Abraham's character of Bhairav seems to be a part of this puzzle, with Rasika, played by Disha Patni, playing a pivotal role in his involvement in the case. Essentially, this is the story of two guys in one-sided love and how their individual stories converge, blurring the lines between being the hero and being the villain. Let's start with the positives. The music. As said earlier, Mohit Suri has a great ear for soulful, melodious music. While not as great as Ek Villain, Ashiki 2 or Awarapan, it does boast of some great songs like Dil and Na Tere Bin. Galliyan Returns is also a great addition and it arrives at a pivotal time in the film. While I'm not a huge fan of remixes and recreations of older songs that act as nostalgia bait, Galliyan Returns is a worthy recreation of the original Galliyan from Ek Villain that doesn't copy the original but helps take the lyrical narrative forward. Kahani mein twist. Another aspect of the film is the twist that is uncovered in the screenplay. Although absurd, this came in as a genuine surprise towards the climax of the film. This is partly due to John and Disha's storyline, which is the most effective angle in the film. The same can't be said about Arjun and Tara's side of the story. Although there are many illogical moments in the narrative, Suri's style of direction and fast-paced structure kept me engaged as the viewer. On to the negatives. Lack of a believable romance. This goes for the Arjun-Tara storyline, which is at the start of the film. I felt that the romance was handled rather poorly and lacked the charm of the love story from the previous movie. The love story essentially forms the basis of this mystery thriller, but it seemed to be rushed so that they can set up some love and loss angle because the plot required it to. The love story is meant to be an integral part of the movie, but I didn't seem to care much about them like I did with Shraddha and Siddharth's relationship. If they shaved the father-son dynamic, the forced comedy with the Kiran with a Q angle, and the lame dialogues, and instead focused on a budding relationship, then the loss and heartbreak would have been more gripping, and we would more likely root for them. The dialogues. If you're ever in the mood for cringy one-liners and exchanges that make you question your decision to watch this film, then this is the movie for you. These are mostly reserved for the Arjun-Tara storyline. While I felt that their meeting and courtship in the film was rushed, the dialogues exchanged between them also did not help. Disha also has some fine lines to deliver that will make you sigh in exasperation. Sequelitis. There are many instances in Bollywood where a film is given the title of a previous successful film without any plot connection or continuity, just in order to cash in on the name recognition. They may share some similarities with themes or genres, or have the same star cast too for added potential to bring in more bucks at the box office. The link between Ek Villain Returns and Ek Villain is wafer thin, in that they show a clip of Ritesh Deshmukh in one scene where a cop is talking about the terrors caused by him 8 years ago. And throughout the movie, that was the only link, along with the killer wearing a smiley face mask. Hey, villain! This was a classic case of a completely unrelated script being given the sequel treatment, with a very loose connection to the first film. I had no hopes for any further connection until I watched the end credits, which has a cutscene featuring one of the characters from the previous film. As bizarre and nonsensical as it was, I was actually surprised by the return of the character. Does that make this a worthy sequel at all? Well, I was genuinely intrigued by the scene in the end credits, and I wonder what door this opens for a potential sequel. Villain Returns does not hold a candle to Villain. The acting. Now, I'm a firm believer of the phrase content is king, and no amount of soulful music, lavish locations, great set designs, or terrific cast can make up for the shortcomings of the story and screenplay. But I feel that there are several scripts out there, no matter how absurd, that can be elevated by the presence of certain actors who can pull off a certain role. In the case of Villain Returns, it does make me think, what if Aditya Roy Kapoor played the role of Gotham, or any other actress play Arvi? While this isn't his worst performance, I still found Arjun Kapoor to be quite stoic and expressionless. Tara wasn't great either, and she wasn't convincing as an up-and-coming singing sensation. Disha was fine in the limited screen time she had. However, I must commend John for taking on the role of Bhairav, who plays a complex character blurring the lines between hero and villain. All in all, Villain Returns is a decent enough thriller with good music and a surprising twist and end credits sequence. But the poor dialogues, subpar acting, lack of believable chemistry between Arjun and Tara, and its loose connection to the first film seem to bring it down. A movie that I certainly don't regret watching, but even if I didn't watch it, I wouldn't have a feeling of missing out. So what did you think of Villain Returns? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this video, and if you did, please hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content, please show me some support by hitting that subscribe button. Until next time, it's Aisi Ki Desi, and I'll see you at the movies.
Villain!